Hey, what's up everyone, Morey Croson here, and today we're going to be going over why you're running stiff and how you can fix it, and we're going to start the video right now. This is the newest edition of the Performance Lab. Reach your individual goals. You don't want to just talk about straight line speed. We also want to talk about your ability to be quick. We break down your video. Let's make you into the quarterback I know you can become. All right, so this is something that I think is really important to be able to understand. And really, there's a few different reasons for why you end up getting in a position where you're really running pretty stiff or looking pretty stiff when you're going through the run. A lot of it has to do with the arm swing and how you're able to create the right ranges of motion within the spine. So we'll go into that here. We got on the left, you can see he's really starting off with an awkward, and we're trying to make some different, few different adjustments within his running form. And what ends up happening is as you start to adjust how your feet are hitting the ground and how you're timing up with the extension in the hip as you're going through, sometimes how you get to that position ends up changing, and that will end up causing you to look stiff, or that just might end up being how you typically run, which is also why you'd be looking stiff. So again, that goes into how your foot's hitting the ground and how you're timing your extension, right? Because everything ends up being a sequence. Everything ends up going into a checklist of first you're going to go through extension within your hip, within your foot, within the ankle, and how your body naturally gets to that position is utilizing some of the muscles that are in the upper body as well as within the core. And if you are trying to get more of a lateral push off, or if you're as you can see with his foot as he's pushing off here, he's turning that foot a little bit more inwards, and because of that, his body has to compensate by really pushing outwards more with the arm. So you can see as he's coming through, he's not coming straight through with the arm and really not creating very much of an elbow action and therefore a shoulder action. Instead, it almost ends up being more tricep and hand. So you can see as he's coming around, right? You can see how that rotation ends up happening here, where now his arms are getting so wide side to side that it's creating this compensation pattern that makes it so now he really can't open up the spine the same way, he can't access his hips the same way, and that's what makes it so you end up really looking stiff, right? So if you're landing, or if you're pushing off and you end up kind of crossing over with your feet a good amount, and therefore pushing off with more of like the inside part of the foot, so now your foot ends up coming across here, okay, and then as you swing through, now coming across again. So now he's going so much, kind of side to side with his lower body, that now there has to be a compensation or a way for your body to be able to make up for the fact that your arms are going so far, or sorry, your weight's going so much across, that now your arms go out to the side more to help you in better balance because of how much, again, side to side motion you're getting within the legs. When you're sprinting, you really want to be able to get your feet to go as much as straight forward, straight back. But when you start landing too much on the outside part of your foot, or you start pushing off, more on like the inside part of the toe, inside part of the foot, now you end up going and crossing yourself over a little bit, right? And so you can see again, as he's coming through, and a lot of it ends up going into how you drive through as well. So as you're coming through, you also don't want your hands to get wide, right? You don't want to end up dropping that shoulder, okay? See how his right shoulder is dropping below his left shoulder? So that's making it so then again, your body weight's going side to side. All the movement that you get, if it's getting further away from the center of gravity, now your body has to be able to, try to counteract that by getting your hands wide. So there's a few different reasons this will happen, right? There could be a lateral drop in the spine. There could be a inability to push off the right part of the feet. There could also be, when you're coming forward and back, you're driving your hands across, or you're pulling your elbows outwards. These are all things that will make it so you end up running stiff. We can see on the right here, he's better, it's still not perfect, but he's better at being able to stay nice and tight with his run. Okay, he's still crossing over though, right? So see how that left foot's crossed over, and then therefore that right arm still goes outside. So he still has a lot of work to do to be able to make it so he's not running so stiff. But the main thing that we have to be able to think about when you're going, if you watch yourself running, you're thinking, man, I look so stiff when I'm running. First thing you got to do is lock those elbows in and make sure you're not getting too much lateral motion in the spine, right? And then also make sure that when you're pushing off, you're not crossing your feet over in that lower half. So those are going to be the main ways to be able to fix it, right? And being able to really concentrate on pushing off the big toe and getting full extension within that foot to make it so your legs are coming straight forward and through. You know, make sure that you're driving, the action is happening more at the shoulder and you're getting extension of the shoulder and not getting too much extension in the elbow and pushing out through the elbow. I see that that's a very common mistake, you know, as well as coming across too much with the arms, right? So again, you can see how the body ends up going side to side here, which makes it so then your compensation pattern is to stiffen up within the arms, stiffen up within, you know, that posture, which will make it so it looks like you're running stiff, right? And that ends up being a big part of, you know, how you could therefore improve your ability to really reach, right? Because what's happening here is he's trying to reach more effectively with his feet, and because he's trying to reach more effectively, he ends up kind of stiffening up within his upper body. As he starts to control how much he's reaching out in front of him, right? So not go as far out with his reach with his feet, he starts to get better control of his upper body and his posture so he's not as stiff. But now he sacrificed how well you could reach with the lower body. So, you know, sometimes when you start trying to really extend with that lower body or really try to get that foot out in front of you, the compensation is that your body starts to stiffen up, starts to tighten up, and you know, you really have to be able to work to counteract that. And part of the reason that ends up happening again is because of, you know, how your body is working in that side to side plane. So the more we can work within the sagittal plane, which is going straight forward and straight backward, you know, that plane, obviously when you're running, you just want to be going straight forward, not going to be going backwards, but that plane, the sagittal plane is forward and back. And so the more optimization you could have there, then the more ability you will be able to operate within more of the transverse plane, which is the rotational plane in the upper body. What happens again with that lower, when you start going, now you're working in the transverse plane when you are, you know, feet are going side to side. Now that's where the rotation's happening. So then your upper body has to stiffen up. You know, now it just looks like you're just super tight and stiff and unathletic in that upper body. So, you know, you want to flip that. You want the sagittal plane to be in the lower body, so straight forward and back, and there to be a transverse plane, rotational plane, upper body, not lower body transverse plane, upper body sagittal plane, which is how you end up looking really stiff. So hopefully that makes a lot of sense to you guys. I tried to just say really a lot of the same thing over and over again because the main part is you have to be able to understand. And I know this from my own, you know, personal experiences. Like if I hear something 3 times, I might not hear it right. You know, it might take me 10 times before I hear it. So if you watch this video and you still don't completely understand, rewatch it again because the information is there. You just really have to, sometimes I'll talk fast too, so you just got to really go and embrace it and take notes and really try to understand it and watch what he's doing when he's running, and that will really make a big difference in being able to improve your sprinting and make it so you could fix yourself when, you know, if you feel like you're running stiff, then you definitely are. There's people that don't think they're running stiff and they're running stiff. So if you think you're running stiff, then you definitely need to be able to watch this video, take the information and start applying it. You can start applying it about 50%, 60%, then start working yourself up from there. You don't have to start it at, you know, 100% and just get, you know, think that you're going to be able to, you know, run really fast in a very short period of time. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. If you like the information, go and click that thumbs up down below. Subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, comments, or recommendations, you can leave those down below. We do have some new things coming out here. It's 2022. And so we want to be able to get you guys on a speed program or speed breakdown. We do have a 28-day free speed. We have a lot of different options for you guys to be able to help you in improving here going into 2022. So go ahead and take a look at all that type of stuff. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.